If you are a CityCast superfan, you've definitely heard us singing the praises of our longtime supporter, Paulson & Nace. So there's big news. Paulson & Nace is now Nace Law Group. Same great team, just with a new name. When you are hurt by the negligence of others, you want a lawyer that will actually fight for you, not one that will settle for the bare minimum. Nace's compassionate lawyers fight to bring cases to juries, so you can get everything you deserve. If you have been hurt or lost a loved one because of someone else's mistake or negligence, call Nace Law Group for a no-obligation consultation. Visit www.washingtondcinjurylawyers.com or call 202-463-1999. Going to the auto shop is a pain. Whether it's fear of being scammed or overcharged or just the general inconvenience of finding a good mechanic and dropping off your car care is a hassle. That's where Rhoda comes in. Rhoda is a local DMV auto shop that makes car care so easy that you don't even need to get off the couch. Just book a service online in under 3 minutes and they'll pick up your car for free, service it at their shop, and return it usually in the same day. They'll even send you text updates along the way. Trust me, they let me try, and the service was completely stress-free. Whether it's seasonal maintenance, repairs, or a car detail, Rhoda's expert technicians offer honest pricing and free inspections on any make or model. Go to Rhoda.com, that's RODA.com, to book your appointment in under 3 minutes. Use code POD50 for your $50 off your first service of $200 or more.
Hey, it's Bridget. Before we get to today's show, I have to tell you about one of my favorite perks of being a CityCast DC neighbor, our members-only events. We actually had one pretty recently, and it was so fun. It honestly was just a blast meeting some of the folks that make DC and CityCast what it is. We're also planning more events this year, including a co-working day that we're planning on setting up pretty soon. So if you enjoyed the show and just want to get closer to the heart of what we do, now is the perfect time to join. Just head to membership.citycast.fm. Most importantly, your support keeps us going so we can make fun shows about underrated brunches or unwritten rules of Metro, and also cover serious, complex issues like the tipped minimum wage, bike lanes, and the current budget crisis. We help you understand and enjoy this city, so please support us. Become a CityCast DC neighbor, support local journalism, and come tell us what you love about DC in real life. Once again, that's membership.citycast.fm. Today on CityCast DC, it's almost one of the most fun times of the year, Porchfest season. Petworth's Porchfest is this Saturday. Adams Morgan's is next week. Now, maybe you already noticed that this week's episodes are sponsored by Adams Morgan Porchfest. But that's actually just a happy coincidence, because Porchfest is such a quintessential DC event that we had to talk about it. CityCast's own Mark Kulkosky and Priyanka Tilve are Porchfest pros, and they're here to tell me everything there is to know to do Porchfest right. Today's Thursday, April 24th. I'm Bridget Todd, and here's what DC is talking about. Priyanka, Mark, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
I understand that both of y'all are Porchfest fans. And Mark, I don't think I knew that you were like a pretty big Porchfest expert. You've done this a couple times.
I wouldn't say I'm a big expert, but I enjoy it going every year.
What is it that you both love about Porchfest?
I think it was coming out of the pandemic. It was one of the first concerts I went to afterwards, and just seeing the bands play throughout the neighborhood, walking around, it was just a wonderful experience. And from there, it kind of something I go to every year now, just because it's one of them is in my neighborhood in Petworth.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's that for anyone who hasn't been to Porchfest before, it's a bunch of bands performing off of porches, as you'd expect, across the neighborhood. And so they have it at Adams Morgan, they have it in Petworth. And I just feel like, DC comes out for Porchfest. So it's, for me, just feels like such a communal event, so community oriented. There's lots of people wandering on the streets. All of the businesses are kind of hopping, especially the Adams Morgan one. And I love music. And the bands span every possible genre you've heard of or not heard of. It just, I just love seeing everyone out having a good time. And it feels to me like the real start of spring/summer.
That's such a lovely way to think about it. And I do think that there's something about DC and porches. Like, we love to kick it on a porch or a stoop. And so
Yes.
it's something that feels kind of uniquely DC in a way, to be like, oh, we like hanging out on porches. We like amplified loud music. Let's bring these two great tastes together.
Yeah, and I feel like it also kind of highlights the walkability of our city. Like, I've been to like a Porchfesty type event in Boston, or I guess it was a suburb of Boston, and it did not have the same feel. Like, it did not feel like you had as many people on the streets. And it was a beautiful sunny day, so it wasn't the weather keeping people away. It's not the same. In DC, there's a special magic to it.
Yes, I agree. And I also think that it's just a time of the year in spring when everyone's out and about and just having so much fun. And that vibe is just rocking the streets. And it's just quite the experience in which you get together with friends and family and just kind of enjoy the city.
Oh, it's also one of those events where you see people of all ages. Like, you see people with small kids, you see people with like toddlers, you see older people, you see college students. Like, every single age group is represented at Porchfest.
And so I think that makes it a particularly good event for parents to bring little ones. Like, there are lots of outdoor festivals and events in the city, but not every one I think is like good for parents. But Porchfest is one where I actually do see people taking their kids out, like in wagons and such.
Yeah, Mark, you have a kid, right?
Yeah, Porchfest is one of those times when there actually is kid bands, not just adult bands. I know.
Wait, no way. I never noticed that.
Yeah, in Petworth this year, I noticed there's actually Mr. Rob will be playing right by the playground on Taylor Park. So it's definitely a spot where I totally recommend bringing the kids down to. The whole street will even be cut off right there as well.
Wow. Do you have tips for going with kids?
I think the first tip is always be ready to change your plans. You're going to come across so many people you know are tugging you in different directions because, everyone has their different preferences in music, that just be ready to pivot. Another tip I'd say is pack like you're going to the zoo. Bring lots of snacks, lots of treats, plenty of water. One tip I definitely would recommend was plan in advance. I know if you ever go to the grocery store or one of those corner shops during Porchfest, you can see that they're wiped out of a lot of things they have. So preparing the day in advance is probably a wise move.
Oh, yeah. Very, very smart.
And also I'd say for those kids, make sure you have a stroller with you just to be able to pack all these things. And one of the best tips I'd say with that stroller, make sure you have a cooler underneath to pack your kids' beverages, but also your adult beverages as well.
Yeah, I love that you've got like, I don't know, those little pouches with puree mixes or whatever, and then also beer alongside them.
Some beer.
Yeah. It's so funny because I feel like as somebody without kids, when I go to an event like this, maybe a tote bag, bottle of water. When I see my friends with kids, the amount of stuff they have to be like prepared for anything, because you really never know what's going to happen with your kid.
What about like from an entertainment perspective? Like, is the music enough for kids, or do you have to bring other things to keep them entertained? Like, are they happy to sit in the stroller and watch Porchfest bands?
Well, I think you're winning if you actually keep them in the stroller. But, I think it's wonderful to just let the kids out. It's a good time for them to explore and hear all sorts of music that, for the most part may be one of their first concerts in this type of setting. So I'd say, let them dance, let them enjoy, let them roam, holding hands, of course. It's such a special day.
Mark, you mentioned the Adams Morgan Porchfest. I've actually only ever been to the Petworth Porchfest. Do either of you have a sense of how the two different iterations of it compare to each other?
I was just going to say that Adams Morgan has been around for a little bit longer, and it's a little more established. They have 3 large stages where you can even go pick up wristbands and to actually get discounts for all the businesses around Adams Morgan, which I think is a little bit different than what Petworth does. Petworth is different because everything is so much more spread out. I think from what I'm seeing, there's over 120 different porches. The Petworth one, the Adams Morgan has maybe 18 to 20 porches. So it's a little different vibe of how you're roaming around versus being more in a tighter area in the Adams Morgan location.
Yeah, I agree. I think Adams Morgan is a lot more concentrated, and I think it also is kind of reflected in the people who go. Like I said, I love that you have a range of ages at both events, but I do think the Petworth crowd tends to skew slightly older and you do see a lot more kids, probably because it's kind of a calmer setting because it's spread out. And so you're often walking at least like a block or two in between performances and it's not throngs of people like walking with you. Whereas the Admo Porchfest can get very crowded. Sometimes it feels like you're just like making your way through a sea of people from one stage to the next. And it can feel like almost mosh pity sometimes, which I think is really fun. Like I enjoy that. But I guess I would say I think Petworth is probably more kid friendly and also a little bit more low key. And Admo is more like a slightly rowdy street party.
Yeah, a slightly rowdy street party mosh pit does sound fun, but maybe not when you've got a stroller and a toddler with you.
Yeah. Or like even just, I feel like I have to mentally prepare in different ways for the two of them. Like Admo, I'm more likely to bring some hard seltzers with me. Petworth, I'm good with some water and snacks. And it just, yeah, more low key.
Porchfest is back! On Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, come out to Adams Morgan for a free, family-friendly music festival. Experience live performances on porches, patios, and public spaces all throughout the neighborhood. DC is home to so many talented musicians spanning every style and genre. This year's festival is headlined by Gangsta Grass, an Emmy-nominated bluegrass hip-hop fusion band. So get some butts together and come on down to Boogie and enjoy the community this spring. Grab your wristband at the festival headquarters to score discounts and offers at bars, restaurants, and retailers throughout the neighborhood. Join us on May 3rd. For more info and the full lineup, visit admodc.org/porchfest and be sure to follow @AdmoBid on Instagram for updates.
After the Fact, a podcast by Pew, keeps it real with data-driven insights on today's big issues. No spin, just facts, mixed with stories from experts, policymakers, and people making a difference. Whether you're into the research or the personal stories behind it, we've got you covered. So what are you waiting for? Listen to After the Fact wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, so every Mother's Day, we treat my mom to a special day out. She gets her nails done. We take her to tea. We go out for dinner or we make her dinner. You know, that sort of thing. Now, I can do all of that because I happen to live close by her. But a lot of my friends don't live near their parents at all. And all their mom wants is a phone call. But what if you could get her something more than just the phone call? That's where Aura Frames comes in. Do you have a funny photo of you and your friends or you and your family that she would love as a keepsake in addition to that phone call? You can send her a new picture of you and the gang right from your phone. I mean, even my tech-averse mom would be a huge fan of that. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's auraframes.com, promo code CityCast. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
How long does Porchfest go for? Like, when does it start? When does it end?
It's normally throughout the afternoon. So the Admo one, I think, is 2 to 6 p.m. Most years, the Petworth one is happening on April 26th, and the Music on the Porches is happening from 2 to 6. And for the first time ever, they're actually doing a main stage. Do you remember where that main stage is, Mark?
The main stage is at 801 Taylor Street Northwest. That's within the Petworth Rec Center.
Okay, cool. So they're going to have this main stage from 5 to 8 p.m. this year, which I'm excited to see how that pans out. That's a new thing they're trying. Honestly, by the time the evening winds down, like once the sun is starting to set on Porchfest days, I am wiped. Like from being out in the sun all day, I'm just done. It's very much an afternoon thing for me.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, when I was a bit younger, I used to go to music festivals, all-day music festivals, and I was always that person who maybe had a little bit too much to drink too early and was like passed out in the tent before the main stage act was on. Is there a sense that you really need to be pacing yourself when you go to these Porchfests?
I would say yes. One thing to keep in mind is that there's not a lot of bathrooms when you're walking around these neighborhoods, especially in Petworth. So it might be something to think about as you go along with your day and pacing.
Yeah, that's so real. Yeah, we really stressed the importance of bringing water, but also like space out your water consumption if you're trying to last all day. The public bathrooms absence is notable. I'm trying to think of other important aspects to pacing yourself. It's also just, it's a lot of time on your feet. I know sometimes people carry lawn chairs with them, which I guess is also easier if you've got one of those like lawn chairs that doubles as a backpack, or potentially if you have a stroller big enough to be able to stash a lawn chair kind of in the back of it. But I think pacing yourself in that respect is important too. Like taking time to sit down and rest your feet, ideally in front of a porch or in front of one of the stages, and then continuing to move on. Because staying on my feet all day is definitely how I sometimes wipe myself out.
Totally. Like pace yourself, take breaks, do what you got to do. You don't want to be the person out there that's like really not having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and sunscreen too. The number of people I've seen walking home from Porchfest just like fully sunburnt. Ooh, it looks painful. And it happens every single year, like crowds of people with red shoulders. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, it's a great time to break out that brimmed hat. Maybe it doesn't look the coolest, but it might save you from being that person that has really been out in the sun for too long, and boy, it shows.
And I actually feel like that's such a Porchfest vibe to wear like the super wide brimmed hat at Porchfest. You won't be alone. I think that's fair to say.
Are there specific bands or acts that you all are looking forward to catching?
I'm seeing Black Masala. They play every year, I feel like, in Petworth. This year they're at, looks like the same location as last year, 4400 Illinois Avenue. I'm also looking forward to seeing the Mesthetics. Part of the band is actually former band members of Fugazi who now play in this band. So it has a lot of, it's more of the instrumental side of it. There's not Ian McKay, but there's some of the other band members.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and they're playing on 4515 Fifth Street in Northwest at 6 p.m. on Petworth Porchfest today.
That's awesome. My favorite Porchfest performer is actually not going to be at Petworth this year. I hope he'll be at Admo. His name is Vince Desert. He's just like a singer-songwriter, but he's got a really beautiful voice, and I have just like casually found myself at his stage a few times. I'm like, oh, this guy's got such a like just beautiful voice. And then I think the last year I started actively seeking him out because it's just very relaxing. It's a good one to sit down in front of because it's normally like slower paced acoustic versions of pop songs, you know, and then a few originals thrown in. And so, yeah, if you've got like a blanket with you or a lawn chair and just plop yourself down in front of Vince Desert, great time. I'm also excited about Ari Vox, who I actually haven't seen myself. She kind of identifies herself as a dreamy pop princess. We actually had an article about her on our website. If you want to learn more about kind of what makes her tick and her influences. And so having edited that piece, I am really interested in seeing her live. She seems like a pretty relaxing performer. And then two people that I don't really know much about, but was just intrigued about. Sriram Gopal and Friends. They're a jazz troupe that performs a lot at Bossa Bistro in Adams Morgan. And so they're going to be at Petworth Porchfest. And they just seem really, really talented. And I've always loved all of the music I've ever heard at Bossa. So that's fun. And then there's this group called Chicha Morada that describes itself as psychedelic cumbia. I don't even know exactly what to expect with that. And I'm just excited to see what they're about. And that's, again, one of my favorite things about Porchfest is the genres that are listed there sometimes. I'm like, how did you come up with this? What does this even mean? And then it's fun to go to that stage and find out what it means.
There truly is such a variety of genres. I feel like it would be so easy for this to just be like, oh, it's just rock bands or, you know, jazz bands. But it really is. You get to see such a diversity of music. So it really is something that is special to Porchfest, I think.
Yeah. And like even on the same stage, like they'll just like hour to hour, like there's this one spot, 532 Shepherd Street, that on that porch at 2 p.m. they're going to have alternative rock. Then after that, they'll have folk. Then they're going to have blues. And then they're going to end with glam pop. So you could just park yourself in front of one bench for the whole 4 hours and hear 4 completely different styles of music.
Well, Petworth Porchfest is April 26th this year, and Adams Morgan is May 3rd. I hope to see you both there. Mark, Priyanka, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you at Porchfest.
Yeah, I'm excited to be there.
Thank you.
Before we go, we want to celebrate our newest CityCast DC neighbors. Thank you to Susan G, Susan K, and Leah M. We'll have your beautiful coffee mugs out to you very soon. And if you'd like to become one of the folks sharing their vision for a better DC, go to membership.citycast.fm to become a CityCast DC neighbor. That's membership.citycast.fm. That's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed today's show, share it with somebody that you want to go to Porchfest with. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Talk to you then.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Harrison. I live in Northern Virginia, but I'm in DC all the time. And honestly, I absolutely love this city. There's so much to do here. World-class museums, festivals almost every weekend, sports, art, food, you name it. The energy of the city is contagious, and it's part of what made me fall in love with DC after moving to the area. As a transplant, it can be hard to feel plugged into a place right away. But CityCast DC has made that so much easier. With all the national news coming out of DC, it's refreshing to have something truly local. Listening to CityCast DC feels like catching up with friends about what really matters in the city. That's why I became a member. If you love something, you support it. I know my contribution helps keep CityCast DC going, and that feels like a small but meaningful way I can give back to a city that's given me so much. If you're not a member yet, now is a great time to join. Your support makes a real difference and keeps this amazing local resource going. Plus, you get great perks. I read the weekly events preview every Monday to plan exactly what I'll be getting up to during the week. Join me and become a CityCast DC neighbor by visiting membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm.